My name is Bonnie. I've been married for 5 years. My husband works for a small to medium-sized company, and I work for a large corporation. It seemed like we had nothing in common, but we met and got married. However, my father was not pleased with our marriage. Since I fell hard for my husband, he had no choice but to accept it. Still, I knew he wanted us to split. Despite that, I never doubted that once we had a child, my father would come around. But for some reason, we just couldn't seem to have a child. Even when we went to the hospital, we were both perfectly healthy and were simply told not to rush. After 5 years, when our marriage was going well, trouble came knocking. Maybe that thought led me to investigate my husband, and sure enough, there was another woman. I figured that out, but what should I do? As I was pondering, I started feeling unwell. I was lethargic and nauseous. I thought it was stress from worrying about my husband, but the symptoms did not improve. Moreover, my period, which had always been regular, stopped coming. It must be severe stress, I thought. But when it didn't come for 2 months, I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I went to the hospital, anxious about what was happening to me. I received joyful news from the doctor. I was pregnant. But I couldn't just rejoice. What terrible timing, with my husband's affair now out in the open and uncertain about the future. And yet, here I was, pregnant. However, it's all about perspective. If he finds out I'm pregnant, he might come back. Someone says a child ties a marriage. Yes, surely he'll come back. With that thought, I waited for my husband to come home with a splendid home-cooked meal. But as soon as he returned, he dropped a bombshell. Let's get a divorce. It was a shocking declaration. I knew why, but still, all I could say was, why? I have a lover and a secret child, he admitted. I knew. No, I had known. I had figured it out. I had looked it up after all. Such thoughts crossed my mind. That's why I'm not with you, my husband's words faltered. I've sworn to make my lover and secret child happy, he said with a burst of courage. I was stunned. I had not expected him to say such a thing. What is that? I'm really sorry. I feel terrible. He kept apologizing over and over. Lover and secret child. I really do feel terrible. I've been with her for a long time, and she just wants to get things right. I agree with her. Our child isn't going to stay small forever. When they reach kindergarten or elementary school age, relationships with other children will emerge. So I've decided. Let's divorce, and I'll marry her. What is that? And you can't have children. Even if we're both healthy, not having children must mean we're not compatible. So staying married doesn't make sense. It can't be helped, so I'm really sorry. It's all my fault. But please, let's divorce. I'm begging you. Let's end this. How selfish. I was about to tell him about the pregnancy. Thinking we were incompatible, I had never thought that way. Hey, why her? Why did your feelings go to another woman? Am I not good enough? Is there absolutely no chance he'll come back? Why her? Well, she has a child, but she's also the CEO of a company. She has her own set of worries because of her work. But being a CEO is a lonely position. She says she has no one to confide in, so she wants me to be there. I work for a company, and if she needs me by her side, helping her with her business could make me a director. So he's aiming for a reversal of fortunes. You're becoming a business partner? Well, yeah, sort of. She's expanding her business quite broadly. There are bound to be challenges. She really needs someone she can rely on. Apparently, I'm that person for her. Being relied on isn't a bad thing, right? You're a woman who can handle anything on your own. Yes, that's it. You can do everything on your own, but she needs me. A typical thing men say. And yet, I'm just a woman, so I want to be by her side. Please don't get mad. I want you to be happy, but I also want to make her happy. So can you understand my feelings? There's also the matter of the child. My child? You're abandoning your own child? Yes. You love her that much, huh? Yeah, maybe. No, it's true. I love her. I couldn't live without her in the future, so I need you to understand. All right, I get it. I'll grant you the divorce. Really? You understand? Yes, I understand if that's what makes you happy. Thank you. I really thought you would understand, Bonnie. Hey, can you tell me one last thing? What's that? No matter what happens, no matter what, your feelings won't change, right? Yes, of course. They won't change. Not ever. Okay, I get it. Then give me the divorce papers. I'll sign them. I signed the divorce papers with a smile. You've been smiling the whole time. Of course. Of course. After all, she's the one you want, no matter what, right? Yeah, of course. You won't regret this, right? Of course not. I'm joining the ranks of the wealthy now. Well, that's good to hear. Actually, I'm pregnant. What? You're pregnant? Yes, that's right. My child, right? Yes, it's yours. There's no one else involved. I see. I'm sorry, but I still choose her. That's fine. I already confirmed that you're not coming back. It wouldn't make any sense to have you come back now. Plus, I think it's better that we're discussing divorce before the child is born. What do you mean before the child is born? There's no recognition of a father after the birth. You'd think of yourself as the father, which would make a divorce more difficult. Is that so? Plus, a man who cheats isn't a good father. Yeah, I guess. I'll erase you from our family. So even if misfortune comes, don't claim any rights just because you're the child's father. You're making a big deal out of our family. It's not that big of a lineage. You don't know. My father is the CEO of a major corporation. What? Your lover is just a CEO planning to expand her business, right? But my father is currently the CEO of a major corporation. You chose her thinking it was a reverse Cinderella story. But were you writing a reverse Cinderella story with me? No way. It's true, because you never showed any signs of it. Well, my father didn't accept you, but I thought that if we had a child, he would. And eventually, you would take over as the CEO of a major corporation. So I was about to become the CEO of a major corporation. Yes. But what major corporation are you talking about? It's not like the big one you work for, right? The CEO of the corporation I work for. What? That's the top of the industry. Yes, and there are many affiliated companies. How come our wedding was so modest then? If it's a conglomerate, it shouldn't have been so simple. I asked for it to be that way because I wanted to honor you. If I had invited many people, you would have felt miserable. I really wanted to invite top corporate executives and financial tycoons, but I thought it would be better to have a party where people who truly celebrate us could come. So that's why it was such a modest ceremony. Yes, but you're the only child in your family. That's why if my father had accepted you, you could have been the successor to that major corporation. But now it's too late. That's ridiculous. We were so close. Since I'm pregnant, why didn't you say anything? I wouldn't have looked at her if I knew. Oh, but you love her, right? You chose her because there's love, right? That's true, but if you were the daughter of the CEO, it would be a different story. That's why I did tell you, marriages lured by money are just the beginning of unhappiness. Plus, being cheated on after you become the CEO wouldn't be great, would it? It's good I found out your true nature beforehand. If I knew it was going to be like this, I wouldn't have cheated. I wonder about that. You probably did it in a way I wouldn't notice, and you used being a CEO as a shield. I couldn't handle that mentally. Do you think I'm that kind of man? He just looked annoyed as he said this. But he can't deny it since he did cheat. And while he was sobbing earlier, now he seems to be blaming me. What a ridiculous story this is. What's the problem? You have her as a CEO, right? Why not lift the company up with her? It'll probably be fun. Yeah, maybe that's true. She doesn't lie like you lie. Are you saying I lied? Isn't it a lie? You pretended to be just a daughter from a normal family and deceived me. What were those tears earlier then? Anyway, I'm going to marry a CEO. I'll make her company bigger than your father's company. Good luck with that, if you can. What's that supposed to mean? Don't say things that sound so sleazy at this point. I didn't mean it like that, but I'll be hiring a lawyer and going through the divorce process. Go ahead, demand all you want. I'm practically a rich man now, marrying a CEO. Her name is Susan, age 35. Why do you need to know that? She's 3 years older than you. Why do you know that? She's expanded her business, but she's been divorced 4 times. Wait, 4 times? I heard it once. Oh, you were told it was once. The fact is, it's 4 times. Whether it's 4 times or once, it's all the same. Why do you even know that? I looked it up. Why did you look it up? I just told you about her now. How could you have checked that already? You might think it wasn't obvious, but it was. Sudden business trips, an unbelievable amount of overtime. Even if we work at different companies, something seemed off, so I looked into it. How did you do that? A detective. You think I don't have money because I work for my father, so hiring a detective didn't occur to you? But I work for a major company too. I have that kind of money. That's it? Even though you work at your father's company, why are you just an employee? It's better to let you think that. Actually, I'm not just a usual employee. What do you mean? My father is the CEO after all. Of course, I have a position there. Really? So my salary is many times yours. That means I can hire any number of detectives. I didn't know that. So when I checked, it was clear you were cheating. Moreover, I knew that the other woman was older than you and a small company CEO. Small? Yes, small. She worked at a major company after college, started her own company with the know-how she gained, but only worked there for 2 to 3 years. What could she achieve in that time? Consequently, that company soon went under. After that, she started the current company, which seems to be struggling. In the meantime, she's been married and divorced 4 times. What? Thanks to that, she's in considerable financial distress. It would be good if her marriage partners were business experts, but she picks people unrelated to business. Maybe she's a woman of many loves. None of her marriages lasted more than a year. That must be because those guys just didn't understand her. My, what a way to put it. Is that okay? What do you mean? She's taken out loans from many places. Loans? That's normal, isn't it? Normal? Why would you think that? She's running a business. That's what managing funds is. You borrow to keep the company going and repay when things go well. That's natural for a company trying to grow big. That's a positive way to think, but it's not the case with her. She has a taste for brands. She's always buying brand items. Yeah, now that you mention it, she always wears high-end stuff. No, that's because she's the CEO. If she doesn't wear decent things, people will look down on her. It's just unavoidable. Well, it seems she buys those things when things aren't going well at work. Right? That's because being a CEO is a lonely position. She wants to talk to someone but can't, so she buys those things to relieve stress. That's a necessary expense, right? So now that you're there, that won't be necessary, right? Yeah, exactly. Now that I'm there, she won't need to shop so much. You're very confident. By the way, do you know the reasons for her past divorces? Reasons for divorce? Yes, the reasons for divorce. No, I don't know. Her past debts are all personal debts, and she has maxed out her borrowing capacity. When she marries, she borrows under her spouse's name, buys a bunch of brand items, and borrows again before she can repay. When she hits the limit, she divorces. It's a repeating cycle. She's not that kind of person. You're just being paranoid. You think the detective would report just suspicions. Obviously, that's not the case. You're saying bad things about her because I was stolen from you. She's just lonely. Do you seriously believe that? Yes, of course. A person who can run a company on her own wouldn't do such terrible things. Well, if that's what you think, then fine. I just wanted to tell you before we ended things. If you're that smitten, do as you like. I've told you all I can. With that, she placed the detective's report in front of Justin. What's this? It's a detective's report. I have no intention of getting back together, but I thought it's cruel to let a divorced husband suffer. You better read this before deciding. I don't need this. I love her. Saying this, he threw the report into the trash. But what I had said seemed to have sunk in deep, almost leaving him in a daze. He couldn't think of anything else and could only deny it. Yet I had told him what I should have, and after that, he was on his own. I'm going to her place. Okay, go ahead. But it's a shame. You could have been a major corporation CEO. Well, I think it's better this way. Hearing my words, Justin stopped but didn't turn back. Half a year later, I hadn't heard anything from Justin. I had moved back home and was starting to feel like my old peaceful life was returning. But then Justin contacted me. I waited, wondering whether to answer, but I decided to take the call. His voice sounded depressed. I'm out of money. Suddenly saying that? You married a CEO. That shouldn't be the case. No, being out of money must be true. Justin was at fault for falling for such a woman. That's because she's been taking out credit cards in my name. Credit cards? How? She easily made them online. I think one card is enough, but she says as a CEO's husband, having just one card looks poor. I don't understand, but if your beloved says so, maybe it's true. I thought so too, but she was using them without me knowing. Didn't you manage it yourself? No, actually. I didn't even know she was making them. Oh dear. And she's also maxed out on the credit loans. It sounded just like the same pattern as her past husbands, but there was no point in saying that now. And Justin was no longer my husband. I didn't need to care. I haven't made any repayments since I didn't know she took them out. She should repay them. That's true. You should just talk it over with her. Oh, right, you quit your job to be her company's director, didn't you? No, actually, I married her, but the company isn't big enough to need more staff. So I'm still working at my old company. Oh, I see. Still, she should have better repayment capacity, right? I think so. She's the CEO, after all. Yeah, she's wealthy, so it should be fine. She's a CEO, but not wealthy. What do you mean? She's indeed the CEO, but she doesn't have money. But she's expanding her business, right? That's just because she hasn't succeeded in one venture, so she keeps expanding. She's just increasing her debts, and she relieves that stress by shopping. Is that so? You thought you were catching a big break, but that break was just about to shatter. No, that can't be. Still, you trust her, then? I can't say anything more. Please don't contact me again. Just discuss it with your wife. Don't say that. I'm anxious. That's why I called you. Being anxious doesn't change that I can't help you. I'm nothing to you now. What are you doing now? Studying to take over my father's company. Wait, you're taking over? Of course. I'm the only child, and the person I was married to remarried. Naturally, it comes to me. So you're going to be the CEO of a major corporation. That's right. If I take over, I'll be making millions a year. Wow, I'm going to be a millionaire. And here I am drowning in debt. Just inside as he said this, but that's none of my concern. What's going to happen to me? You only have to talk with your wife. You said you wouldn't regret it, no matter what. Yeah. Justin ended the call reluctantly. But after another half year, he contacted me again. His voice was even more somber than half a year ago. I knew something was up, and sure enough. Hi, Bonnie. Long time. Oh, Justin, you sound down. Yeah, I divorced her. Really? Well, that's not surprising. You're not surprised? Well, it's longer than usual for her, isn't it? Really? Well, I wonder. Her past marriages have ended within a year. This one lasted just a bit longer, I guess. I see. What's up? If you divorce, everything should be resolved, right? No, not really. Remember the card thing from 6 months ago? Yeah, I remember. That's long settled, isn't it? Well, I finally talked to her about it. Wait, you just talked. Why did you wait so long? Every time I tried, she was too tired or too busy with work. It never turned into a conversation. So I finally cornered her and asked, "What's up with these cards?" And she said, "What about them?" You said it's embarrassing for a CEO's husband to have just one card. You did say that. Yeah, I did. But when I said, "Isn't Susan the one using them?" she just shrugged it off. Oh, the audacity. I'm drowning in debt. She doesn't even care about it. So I asked why she borrowed so much, and then, business needs money. I told you before. I remember, but the stuff you buy is all designer labels. How is that necessary for business? I told you, a CEO must wear high-end items, or people will look down on her. And you think you can pay all this back once the company takes off? I'll be able to pay it back. When exactly? It's been a year. Nothing has changed in that time. These things happen. If you keep nagging, I can't work. Then use your own card. We're married. It doesn't matter whose card it is. Just stop it. You say it doesn't matter, but I'm the one paying. It doesn't matter who pays. If my business succeeds, you benefit too. That's why you married me, right? That's true, but no, that's not it. Enough. If you're going to complain this much, let's just divorce. Fine, but you pay your debts. You spent it. What are you talking about? It's in your name. You pay for it. If we stayed married, maybe I'd pay, but now we're divorcing. It's on you. What? It's only natural. And since we're divorcing, you take care of the kids. You're their mother. So what? Kids get in the way of work. They're just a nuisance. Take them with you. That's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. I have to grow the company. I thought you understood that, but you clearly don't. Take the kids. So I got divorced, and she even dumped the kids and her debts on me. Wow, that turned out to be even more incredible than I thought. Truth is stranger than fiction, huh? I told her the debt was hers since she spent the money, but it was no use. When I said, "You're the mother," she asked if I'd provide child support. I said it's already tough with the debt alone, and without child support, raising a child is impossible. She laughed and said, "Then I'll take the child rights unless you pay child support." Eventually, I ended up having to raise the child. Is she going to pay child support then? When I asked that, she said it was impossible. She said she needed money to grow her business, so paying child support was out of the question. Whatever I said, it was hopeless, and I just had to back down. That's incredible. Can't you help me? Raising a child costs money, and with all this debt, it's impossible. Please, you're a millionaire, right? I haven't taken over the company yet, so I don't have that kind of money. Besides, you and I are strangers now. Why would I have any obligation to help? And remember, you said you wouldn't regret anything no matter what happens. Don't say that. Please help me. That's why I told you to read the investigation report back then. Bonnie, after that, Justin tried to make it work with the child, but nothing changed financially despite his best efforts to work. Having a child made it tough to work full-time, especially at night. Ultimately, to work, Justin decided to leave his child with his parents, thinking they would take the child for free because they were grandparents. Justin was naive. His parents demanded child support, saying they couldn't take the child without it. Forced to choose between paying child support and working, Justin chose to work, paying child support relentlessly while also paying off his debts. That meant taking a second job at night and working on weekends too. Realizing rent was a waste, he moved into a tiny, decades-old place where just laying out a mattress took up all the space. It became a place just to sleep. Despite it all, he asked for my help again, but I firmly refused. As for me, I had a child and was training to be the CEO at my father's company. Relying on a husband was uncertain, but now I was motivated to forge my own future.